What up, everyone? This is Butter, and today we're going to be talking about should you get into beat making and music production? Let's find out. So, a common question that I always get asked when I'm streaming on Twitch, Livid, or even posting to Facebook and Instagram is, how do I get into beat making? How do I even get started? Where should I start? What do I have to buy? Those kind of questions. Okay. And the response that I always give people is make sure that you're going to have time and a budget for when you get into beat making, because beat making isn't cheap. And those are some of the things that I want to get into today. So the time factor. If you're working a full-time job, part-time job, you always got to make sure that you can cut some time, sit down and learn how to beat make, okay? Not everyone is going to be the dopest beat maker at first, so you got to make sure that you can set some time aside and get into it, because again, there's a lot of producers out there who started out with no type of music background or anything like that. Some do have it, but then again, there's a lot of them who just pick it up and run with it. So you got to have that type of determination and motivation behind beat making. Otherwise, what's going to end up happening is that you're going to start buying and investing into all these softwares and hardwares, and then at the end of the year or however long it takes, you're going to drop it just because you don't simply have time for it. So the best advice I can try to give you is make sure you have time to actually make music. Okay, don't just get into it because everyone is getting into it or all your friends are getting into it. Make sure that this is something that you want to do and that you want to get into. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of time. So the next thing you want to consider when you're getting into beat making is a budget. Okay, when you get into music production, it's not going to be the cheapest thing to get into. All right, because softwares, hardware, all cost money. And when I first started, I had a few friends that were already music producers, or they've already been into beat making and all that other good stuff. But everyone is different, and you need to find the correct setup for you, your time, and your money. What are you going to need? The most basic things that you're going to need is going to be an audio interface, a DAW, some good headphones, good monitor speakers, and a MIDI controller. Choosing your audio interface. Now, if you're barely getting started, I do not recommend you getting the most expensive audio interface out there. Try to start off small, and then in the future, you can definitely upgrade, okay? I recommend starting out with the Focusrite Scarlett Solo or a 2i2, and that can range anywhere between $110 and $160, okay? This audio interface is going to be one of the main components for when you're starting out in beat making. So the next thing you're going to want to invest into is a DAW, or a digital audio workstation. I started out with Ableton Suite, which ranges from about $700 to $800. But that's the thing, you don't have to get the highest package that's on the market out there. You can start out with the intro level, which ranges about $80, and then they have Ableton Live Lite, which is a free download. But here's the thing, you want to find a DAW that works best for you and your environment. You don't have to get Ableton. You can start out with like FL Studio, you can start out with Reason, you can start out with Logic Pro, or even Pro Tools if you want to do it that way. And they also have other free DAWs out there that you can start out with, like just like Reaper or any of those other DAWs. When you're getting into picking the DAW, make sure that it's going to be something that's right for you and that's going to be most intuitive. So I suggest maybe getting a free download of that software, trying it out, and then seeing about upgrading to the next level. One of the other investments that you're going to need is a good set of speaker monitors. And here's the reason why speaker monitors are so important. When you do get into beat making and producing, these monitors are going to reveal your music, the sounds within your music, how it's played, the feedback that you're getting from all the sounds that you're using. So you're going to want to invest into some monitors that you're going to trust and that you're going to get to know over the time period. I started out with the KRK Rocket 5s, and then I later upgraded to the Rocket 7s. The KRK Rockets, they're really great speakers for your buck. You know, I didn't want to spend too much, otherwise I would have upgraded to something like the Atom Audios. But the KRK Rocket 5s to the Rocket 7s, those range about maybe 150 to 180 per speaker. So again, you're gonna need 2 of these, so you got to consider how much you're spending on these speakers. But also, you also want to get something that's going to give you a good response to your music and how you perceive the music itself. Okay, so again, take the time, invest into something great. Here are some honorable mentions here. You have the JBL Professional 305P, the Mark IIs, which are about $150. You have the Yamaha HS5s, which are about $180 each. And then you have the Atom Audio T5Vs that go around $200 each. And with those mentions, these are all great monitors. But again, you're going to want to select something that you're comfortable with and that sound good to you. All right. Because again, everybody perceives music a little differently. So you're going to want to get something that you're comfortable with and that sounds good to you. The next thing on my list I was going to talk about was getting a good pair of monitor headphones. Okay. Now, here's the reason why you want to get some headphones. And it's because sometimes you're not in these crazy studios or anything like that where everything is soundproof, you know. And then when you get into the nitty gritty of mixing and mastering, you're going to want to have something to reference your music and your mixes and all that other stuff. So getting a good pair of headphones is very important, just as much as getting a good pair of studio monitors. So when you get your monitors, I started out with the Audio Technicas, the M40s, and then I upgraded to the M50s later on when I had more of a budget for it. Okay, the Audio Technicas are really great. That's actually what I started out with. You know, they give you a good response to your music and your sounds. These headphones can range about $100 all the way up to about $170. So you can check places like Amazon or check other electronic stores and music stores that you go to invest into a good pair of headphones. And one of the last components that you're going to need when you're getting into music production is a MIDI keyboard. Okay, the MIDI keyboard that I use is a Roland A49. Okay, I also have a Keystation 49 over there in the corner. But you know, if you're starting out, try to budget out maybe anywhere between $80 and $120. The M Audio Keystation 49 is around $100. Okay, that's gonna give you access to laying down chords, you know, your drums when you're doing sample drums and all that other good stuff. So you want to try to invest into something really good. They have a few other MIDI keyboards out there that you can use that are about that same price range. But again, if you can, try to go to your local music store, feel it out, see how comfortable it is for you, and go from there. Okay, when I first started out, I thought that I needed a beat pad for the drums, but that's not the case. Okay, this is a different tool. I can get into this in another video, but ultimately you don't need a beat pad. You can use just your MIDI keyboard to control your drum sounds. Okay, so again, the MIDI keyboard is going to be one of those components that are going to be very essential to your home studio. So these are the components that you're going to be needing when you're getting into beat making and producing. Again, be very selective of what you choose and what you buy, because again, this can be a very expensive hobby for you. Or again, make sure that this is something that you want to be invested in, both money and time. Okay, again, like when I started out, I knew I was going to be making music. I knew that this is something that I really wanted to get into, you know, and I just ran with it. But again, everybody is not like that. So if you know that you're going to be doing it a while, then take the time to invest. Be sure and be smart about what you invest into. If not, if you're trying to get your feet wet, then, you know, do things little by little, and you can always upgrade as you go. But it's more important to know that, you know, you don't have to get the best things out there when you're starting out. Okay, be sure that you're again, be sure that you're smart about everything that you do, because again, this thing can be very, very expensive. All right, I hope you guys like this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and also get my Linktree link so you guys can follow me on my social medias and on my live streams. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace.